We got Chico over there tooling around. It's funny how I have stuff planned out to talk and then I get out here and I can't do it. Because that's how my brain works, right? My brain goes, we're going to talk about this. And then I think about it on the way out. And then now it's come out of my brain because I thought about it. Gotta wait for it to come back. Because I'm goofy old man. So let's see. Let's talk about, like, even once you walk and set, it's a good idea. Now I don't really practice this. So sometimes when I say stuff that I don't really do very often, I get into the practice what you preach, right? So since I don't practice it, I don't like to say it a lot, but it's a good idea. So Chico's been here for damn near 2 years. Okay. So probably the last year, oh, he's about to poop. Let's come. Well, you won't be able to see him because I'm standing right here. Probably about the last year, I get into doing structured play, right? So we work and play together with the dogs. And usually once I get to that point, I don't do heel drills anymore, right? So he's so goofy. See what he's doing, you big goober? He's goofy. So, but anyways, it's a good idea to go out, one walk a week. Just go out in the front before you get going. Now you should do this when you start your walks, when you're teaching your dog to walk with you. Now, then it gets into what do you want out of your walk. There's a lot of people that say the walk is for your dog, and for some people that's true, right? For some people that's the only exercise your dog is getting. So as long as you're not having issues with him, let him do whatever he wants. Like now, he's starting to just bullshit now. Chico, let's go. Good boy. I thought he was gonna poop. He's kind of just bullshitting. He's just bullshitting, right? You're a good boys. I could get you to not put other dogs' heads in your mouth and smash them on the ground, right? So heel drills. Even though he's a really good walker, good boy. You got a nice sharp turn, and you throw food in there. When I start walking, I don't do a lot of food. Like when we're going, when I do this kind of stuff, I will. Let's see what he offers me. Good boy. All right. Just get him to start following you. This is a really important thing at the start of your walks. Like when you first get your dog, once your puppy gets to a point, right? You don't want to do, you can. Good boy. You have outside turns, right? This is all just about getting your dog to follow you. Good job. So I used to would do like what the school tell you is they want you to turn with the food in your hand. And I used to do that. I don't like doing that anymore. Again, puppies are different than older dogs to me, right? I'm not going to use a lure. Good. See right there, he didn't create pressure. So that's when I will use food with an older dog. The first few turns, you might get least pressure. I'm not going to give him food now because he's with me. He created least pressure. Now, some people say the dogs can't differentiate that. I think they do, right? So here, no least pressure, right? I can give him a reward. You can mark and reward good, right? You have outside turns, the dog is on your outside. So see this time, he turned with me, he didn't create pressure, I can reward him, all right? Then you have inside turns. This comes after they're good with the outside turns. If your dog's not doing good, now you can do it if your dog's a super puller. You would add pressure and then cut them off, right? But you have to do it before the dog gets in front of you. Now, if they're super pullers, you can do it where you run into them and it helps them back up. So anyways, outside turn, right? Dog's on the outside. Inside turn, the dog's on the inside. Good boy. Right? If you've worked your obedience, start using it. Ready, sit. Right? There's even people nowadays talking about, oh, this barking the commands, just move up. Dude, it's getting the dog to work with you, right? If your dog is working with you, there's less likely for other bullshit to happen. If you don't do any kind of work at all, there's more likely other bullshit to happen. Does that mean it's going to if you don't do any work with your dog? No, there's a lot of people that don't never walk their dog, they don't never work with their dog, and the dog is just fine. Well, maybe not just fine. Come on, fool. Ready, down. Hand motion. Good. When I come out, I'll do a lot of food right here. Then when we start walking, I'm not gonna do any food. Right? Ready, sit and stay. Right? Do. I used to do a lot of like jumping around being crazy to do distraction stuff. I don't do it anymore. Good. You see that? I put my hand in my pocket when I was way up there. Bad habits, dude. It's easy to create bad habits and it's hard to break bad habits. It's hard to make good habits, right? Being disciplined. It's hard to be disciplined. That's why most people don't do it. Because people are inherently lazy, right? Kind of like dogs. Dogs are real fast. Good. Right? You went past me and sat in front of me. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Dogs are really good at learning to avoid pressure and punishment, and they're really good at trying to get rewards, right? So you got to watch where you put when you're using your food, right? So you'll see, like, this is another habit that I've started doing. So most people will tell you when you're teaching your dog to walk with you, to do like this, so that way you can reward like this. If you always reward here, they're going to start sticking their face in your pocket or your treat pouch, right? Some people hide it back here and they go like this. It's all about breaking the focus of where the reward's coming from, right? I saw somebody the other day, like, why bringing the food to your face to get the attention is not really getting the attention. But it depends on, like, that's the look at me thing. I don't like that either anymore. I used to do it. But I do it to break, because if you're always going like this, they're going to stick their face right here. I shouldn't be doing that. It's kind of teasing them that I'm going to, right? It's doing the reward motion without giving them a reward. So I used to always do this because I couldn't get off of not having the leash in my left hand. I used to always do like this, right? So what happens when you do that is they start coming across you, right? So if you don't want them to come across you, that's another one, because you have a hard time with the regular food, right? They're going to start coming across you, right? Especially if you're walking. Maybe less so if you're doing like a sit, right? So I started doing, like, I'll do sometimes like this. I gave him one right there because I put my hand in his face. And then I'll start bringing that up. And it's mainly, more than anything, to break the fact that they're staring at where the reward's coming from. Ready, down? How come we're so reliant on the hand signal? Because we haven't worked in a long time. I always think about what you've done, right? Like, I could be like, dude, you know this shit, right? He knows what a down is. I shouldn't have to use a hand motion, but if I do, I do. Who cares? Good. But it's probably something that I've done, right? I got reliant on the hand motion. And to me, if you're relying on the hand motion, who cares? Do they have to be just off of verbal? If you want it, then you need to work it. Let's see. Let me try to remember how you would work it. Am I maybe doing it? I probably did too many physical at the same time as the verbal, right? So you want to do verbal, a small pause in the physical. That way you can get rid of the physical cue. Ready, break. Um, why did we get so reliant on it though? Go ahead, buddy. You got 50 feet of freedom, dude. Um, right? So you have the verbal, the physical cue, and anything that you do, and then you have the mark and reward, right? So the physical cue gives the verbal cue meaning because they don't know what a word is. You can use any word you want. You can use trash can. I mean, ideally, you're using one syllable word. It's just an example. You can go trash can, and then you do the physical cue or least pressure, right? And then you mark and reward, and it doesn't have to be food, it can be affection. If you're using affection for your stationary stuff, just 1, 2 soft ones, right? Because affection is an arousal thing. Gets them excited. So if you go like this, then you start getting excited, huh? You start getting excited, huh? Whereas if you go good, right? See how he's excited just from me doing. Did I make it my points? Probably not. Yeah. Every once in a while, just throw in some heel drills. Now you should be doing heel drills at the start of every walk until your walk is totally good. My opinion. Do I do it? No. Sometimes I just start. I mean, you could once they get the idea, you could just start correcting. It depends on if you want to be corrective, right? So you start walking, they start pulling, you would boop boop. You would correct the energy down. Oh, buddy. Or you redirect. So right, so you redirect by doing those direction changes. He wants to play. Oh, dude, I haven't. We can't play, dude. You got stuff hanging off your heart. They say it'll fall off. Too much exercise. He's on his medication now. I was just babbling, anyways. What were we talking about? Get out of there, boy. You're such a good dog. You're a good boys. You're a good boys when you're not eating other dogs. Yeah, good. Show them a smile. That's a good boy. Yeah, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. I need to do your nails. Anyways, whatever. We're out of here.